And as the players alike start talking about what happened in the game, we as well are going to start discussing it a little bit here on the analyst desk. And right out of Champion Select, as usual, we kind of see some different things. Jarvan being left open, but the Vi pick up there. Piglet getting his AD carry in the bottom lane. But most of all, you know, Gamma trying to show a little bit something new as well.
I mean, to break down picks and bans a little bit, coming into today, I didn't know whether T1 would be trying to maybe create some fear in other teams by picking out, maybe using some more different champions. But this is SK Telecom through and through. Nami, Caitlyn, their bread and butter lane. The team has about a 90% win rate when they use those champions. We have the Vi, which we saw Bengi bringing out in the Champions Summer Final. And, of course, Ari for Faker and Renekton up in top lane. So it's pretty much as standard as you'd expect from this team. What was really confusing to me was Gamma Bears banning out Aatrox.
Right.
Now, we did see SK T1 play Aatrox against Gaming Gear in groups, but that was the first time a professional Korean team has ever played that champion. So
maybe the last time?
Maybe the last time, too.
Ban that out.
It did confuse me somewhat as to why that was such a high priority
and that
ban.
victory with Aatrox was actually against the Gaming Gear. Not to take anything away from it, but obviously they almost got in their head a little bit with the homework that they did. It was almost a ban that they put to the wayside.
Yeah, it was strange.
And one thing I want to point out about Gamma Bears is that NL and Sword Art actually did really well in lane. They almost killed Piglet. He lived with like 10 HP, and they had like 15 to 20 CS throughout lane phase until they made a misstep, got 3v1 dove by the Vi when the Zyra wasn't there. And another thing that really caught me as a surprise was the fact that Piglet and Pumandu consistently got chunked or caught as the teamfight would start. And that's actually why Cassidy was almost in that game. He got 2 kills, but he was so far down in lane. He was like 80 CS down from Faker because Faker's a god.
I mean, coming into that too, usually when we see that Nami Caitlyn lane, they 2v1 it. And so I guess I was a bit confused. You want to use that lane because of Caitlyn's range and the power-up from Tidecaller's Blessing. You could really chunk a solo laner hard and take that turret very quickly. So I was not too thrilled seeing the 2v2 matchup, but I guess SK Telecom felt pretty confident. But I think NL and Sword Art did a great job in lane.
I pretty much agree there. I think a 2v1 would have been more optimal for them. While this is the bread and butter SKT comp, I don't feel like Gamma Bears was outpicked at all. I think they had the means to deal with SKT1, and there were a few holes left in strategy-wise by SKT1. The Gamma Bears, if they executed what they did a little more mechanically correct, then they actually had a chance at winning this, because against this team, Kassin can snowball pretty hard.
And this is the second time that I've seen Shyvana top this tournament, the first one being Darien. And I'm really not sold on it because the first time he played it with TF, I don't see synergy there. And this time he played it with Kassadin. I see no synergy between Shyvana and Kassadin. I feel like the old Ori-Shyvana combo is really strong, or potentially just like, I don't know, I just don't see...
Something else that brings crowd control.
Yeah, exactly.
He could have become like an unkillable monster at one point, though. That's what Shyvana does. It's really hard to deal with once he ramps up and has a lot of base damage. Problem was he got caught in lane. He actually flashed out, walked back in, and the jungler got him, which he should have known. With the aggression coming out from the enemy top laner, he should have known that he was probably getting ganked.
Yeah, let's steer this towards the jungle, because I want to talk about Bengi here.
Yep.
He really performed very well. He got that first blood in the top lane, and when you get a first blood as a jungler, you just feel like you won the jackpot, because usually you're a very poor, man on the team. But Bengi really put his money to interesting use here. He rushed home guards, upgraded into mobility boots, and bought an Oracles on top of that. So that's 0 combat stats. It's all about him making that first blood money be felt across the entire map by Gamma Bears. He uses the mobility boots to go clear out all the vision, and then he uses that information that he now has to gank lanes where there's no possible way for a counter gank. And that's all that Vi needs. As long as Vi can get off her ultimate into a vault breaker, that's the most CC that anyone in any of those lanes needs to take out a kill when they have the man advantage.
Now, that came back to haunt them a little bit, because when they were doing turret dives with
kind of squishy.
later on, he wasn't exactly holding up, because we were looking up that it's like, that's a 1475 gold investment in your shoes.
Plus an Oracle on top.
Yeah,
so
and the pink wards he was buying as well. So
it actually reminds me a lot of Season 2, where you'd see a lot of those Alistars roaming around with mobility boots. Although an Alistar would have his ulti to make the dives a little easier. I don't really agree with the investment. I think if Vi can still manage, especially with vault breaking over walls, can still manage to find paths not warded, or just 1 or 2 pink wards could suffice. I think, as Monty said, that amount of gold on just your shoes
Right.
is a little bit too
Well,
much.
I like to see this difference in jungling styles because, like, coming from NA where everyone's just trying to imitate Meteos, this, like, Bangi will give away every one of his blues. He'll buy these kind of supportish items like Oracles, and he'll go back to, like, Season 2 throwback. But, you know, in NA, the jungler takes the blue, the jungler buys selfish items, takes your CS. Bangi didn't, like, take any lane CS, really.
All right, we'll see if they can do what they can do in those lanes. We got to take a quick break right now, but when we return, it is game 2.